everybody. It's gonna get messy today.
Well, let's kick this off. I think this is right down your alley. We are starting with sports, and specifically women in sports. The New York Times is reporting on female athletes as young as 14 who are giving up school and going into pro soccer through the National Women's Soccer League's under-18 mechanism. So this is a formal process. You can actually sign players under the age of majority, so they'll skip through, not go to college, and go straight to professional sports. So the question we're kicking off, and you know this world, Brock, should young players take their time, go to college, or skip it and just capitalize on the opportunity to go pro?
Oh. We have opinions in the audience.
We have opinions.
They're saucy today.
Yes.
I don't have to be.
No.
I actually think I did it. I skipped school and I went directly to pro in the minors and then went to school later and I didn't graduate until I was 33 and I kind of regret it. That career would have been there for me.
Yeah.
That said, if you're making generational money, which they're not yet in women's sport has popped off and I think it's incredible to see.
Okay.
But until they're making that generational wealth, get that degree because starting out at $50K a year, you know, in pro, unless you're getting endorsement deals worth millions.
It's not worth it.
No, stay in school, go to school, get that degree. And your NIL money, like
What
Lindsay,
does that mean, NIL money?
It's like name, image, likeness. So you can now get brand deals. And like Olivia Dunn just got like 4.5 million or 3.5 million, something like that, in school for 1 year.
Yeah.
Like, get that money in school, that career will be there, and then when you're making 50K a year, you have millions sitting there waiting for you.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, it's interesting that you went through that and you have the opposite. I actually say go for it. I actually do say go for it. I really do. And listen, this is someone who I love education, and I think education is the way out for a lot of people. It's security, it's a little bit more predictable. And you're right, you may be great, you may not be. And so therein lies the question, are you really that skilled? You know, everybody thinks in hockey, you know this, everybody wakes up if they're a boy and they all think they're the next Sidney Crosby. And newsflash, you're not gonna be. I think something like 2% of people who ever start playing hockey are ever gonna even make it into the NHL. So no, you're not gonna be a Sidney Crosby, but I actually think in a new league, newish soccer league, women are finally making a mark. Where are we supposed to start? I think the minimum salary now is only $48,500 US in the NWSL. But that's going up. By the year 2030, the minimum salary will be over $82,000 US a year. It's not generational wealth money, but it is a start. I want to tell you about a girl named Mallory Pugh. I think she's Mallory Swanson. She's married now. She was the first person to go pro in the NWSL and skip college. She signed the biggest contract to date in the NWSL at $2 million, and she's making millions more in endorsements. Not everybody is Mallory, but it worked out for her. And if you take a look at what she could have had, this is what her book is going to be about when she's 50. I did the thing, and I have no regrets. I love that.
Okay, those are all really valid points. But then there's the other part. Okay, money is great and it's a great motivator, but if you don't have maturity, the right team around you, experience, you're going to fumble that bag. And maybe there is a Mallory who's going to be fine, but I think there's a bit of maturity. We're talking about someone possibly being 14 years old, playing with professionals. And I'll tell you what, I got into university at 17 and I was like boasting about it. I was so out of my depth when I got there. Everybody was light years ahead of me. I couldn't join conversations and it was very awkward. And in hindsight, I wish I did have a little bit more life experience. And I'm also thinking about your teammates. Okay, you know how sports gets. Things get really heated. Sometimes you did something on the ice that I didn't like. Now imagine we're in the locker room and I want to talk to you like a teammate, but you're 14 and I'm 27. Can I talk to you the way that I want to, or do I have to be mindful because you're a little kid? And if you start crying, now I'm the bad guy.
You're gonna be mom.
Oh, and I don't want to.
You're gonna be mom.
And I don't want to be a mom. I'm here to work, and so are you. So I'm going to treat you like a coworker. And I'm sorry, the 14-year-old cannot hold their own with a 20-something-year-old who has years of experience. So I think there is something to, you know, wait a couple years. We're not saying 10 years, a couple years, just to get your legs underneath you and to find out who you are. To go from your parents making your lunch and cutting off your crust to like you being in a locker room with other adults who have children who are close to your age is a huge gap. So I'm not a huge fan of it. I think you gotta wait.
I mean, I find it interesting that you've gone through this and that you went early and you still feel like you said that like the skills or the talent would still be there, that you could have waited and you still, I mean, you don't absolutely know that. I guess some people would say, you know, being an athlete, you have a short period of time, you know, you retire early, and so getting them young is better. I wonder, for me, again, outside of this realm, is the vulnerability of young kids. I mean, you think, we've seen this, and I'm thinking of girls in particular, but it can be true for boys, of course. Girls, you've got a lot of interventions, people who are dealing with your body. I can see physiotherapists and all that stuff. What you have, and we saw this in the gymnastics world, is people who can prey on younger children.
Yeah,
and
great
especially if
point.
you take them and you pluck them young and you have them on the road and you have them touring around, where are the adults in the room? And are the adults, can they be trusted? So this is why absolutely I'm like, no, until I understand the checks and balances. I would never let my child do this. But I say the same thing for kids in acting as well. Like, at least though I would be around. But for this, it's like, if you're gonna, were you separated from your family?
Are you gonna be momager?
I'm gonna be a momager, maybe. That's what I'll do. No, I don't know. But
I mean, but the boys get billeted out really
Yes.
young.
I moved away at like, I think I was still 15.
And how did you feel, like, when you're away from your parents, day in, day
Oh,
out?
it sucks. It's awful. You're homesick. You're crying at night. Nobody knows. You miss your family, your friends, your life, and you're watching everyone grow up around you.
Yeah.
That said, if it was a situation where, again, they couldn't make the same money, if not more, in school with the NIL deals, I would say, sure, fine, go make that money while you can, because you're one injury away from it being done.
Right.
But at the same time, you're one injury away, $50K starting out, a college or university degree in America probably costs that annually.
Yeah.
And you're
Yep.
getting that plus upwards of $3.5 or $4 million a year. I would go to school.
Yeah, go to school, kids.
Yeah.
The money's gonna be there. Go to school. All right.
Hey, you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.